Hey guys, welcome to Married Date Mondays here on the all-new Matchmaker Hotline. It's your girl Matchmaker Amber Neal. Hope you guys have had somewhat of a good weekend. It is Married Date Monday, Manic Monday, Monday. But it's also Money Monday. So today we're going to talk about some tips. We want to hear from the guys' perspective first. So today we have a treat for you. Back by popular demand, we have the Hamiltons back on the show. But we're going to start with Kenneth. So welcome into the show, Kenneth.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? So thank you for having me on, Amber.
Yeah.
I appreciate this moment. So yeah, I love being here. I love working with you. I love doing everything we do with Married Date. You know, we've been doing this for like 4 years now?
I know.
Since I've been together. Yeah, we've been together 4 years, been married for a year and a half. So
wow.
So yeah, it's been really good. It's been a great journey.
Wow, it's amazing how time just flies. You look up and it's like boom. I mean,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you guys have just watching your growth has been so inspiring.
Yes, it has.
And especially for the younger generation that's a little jaded as far as believing in marriage.
Right. You know? A lot of the young couples now, you know, when I say young, I'm saying myself too.
Yeah, of course.
We don't believe in marriage. They don't believe in marriage because they're always, it's a quid pro quo for some of them. Then it's also a status quo, keeping up with the Joneses. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes, often than not, it's what their parents used to have, what kind of relationship their parents used to have, or someone who they were close to, the kind of relationship and they base it off of that. So yeah, it's just all jaded. And so what we're trying to do now is just reel it back in, the correct way, not just, of course we have our health professionals who help us out with this. We thank God for them.
Yes.
But most importantly, we want God to be the center of this, because he said a three-course strand weave cannot be broken. So
when you quote the scripture. Yes.
So when you got yourself and your wife or husband, when you have God right there in the center of it, you know, you don't want anything to put you asunder. God said, "Don't let no man put asunder what he joined together." You know,
exactly.
But I got a lot to talk about with the men today, because it's a big mantle on the men today.
Yes, I'm so excited. We're starting to watch parties. So if you're watching, if you're on my page or you're on the Facebook Edge Radio Network page, you can go there now. I'm going to be checking that, and we're going to be answering your questions. So we're hoping the guys will actually join in and call today.
I hope so too.
Seriously, because this guy is a class act. This is somebody I can tell you, like, I would let my son talk to. That's how much I admire you as a man and as a husband, and especially being married to one of my good friends, Nisi. And you've changed her life. I mean, you really have. And I know she's changed yours too.
She has. She's changed mine a lot. And my wife tells me something all the time. I used to think it as a joke, but it's kind of become true. Every time we talk to her friends tell her girls, talk to them and say, "Look, find you a man, because a man needs a problem to solve. Men always like to solve problems."
Yeah,
he said, "Girl, if you ain't got no problems, then he can't solve none, so he ain't gonna be with you." And I kind of think about it. I was like, I think you're kind of right about that.
Yes.
Because every time she has something to do, whether it's small or big, I gotta fix it. But that's a man in us. We gotta fix it.
Yeah.
But let's just dial back before we get into that about the mantle that's on the man's head. The Word of God says a man becomes a mother and father and cleaves to his wife. A man becomes a man, he leaves his mother and father and cleaves to his wife. Mm-hmm. So one thing, me and my wife, we dissected that. Men, we understand. I always told my wife in any idea of marriage, a divorce or whatever, when a man leave the wife with everything. Take what you need to sustain you. Take your car, take your clothes, leave.
Yeah.
That's it. Leave her with the house. Leave her with all of that. That's all stuff, because you were built to go get that stuff for yourself. But the word God says, leave his mother, father, and cleave to his wife. So when you leave to cleave, we love to hear that scripture. We love to hear that saying. Cleaving means two things. Cleaving means to cut off, but it also means to be faithful. Mm. So when you cleave, you cut off. Think of a cleaver, a butcher. He has a cleaver. He cuts off what he has with his wife, with his mom and dad. Mm-hmm. But he cleaves to be faithful. When you cleave to something, you hold on tight to it. Wow. So when you say your I do's, that's cleaving. So you leave everything you have, whether you had your mom and dad, had, whether you had your bachelor pad, whether you had all this stuff, you cut that off and you move in, and now y'all assimilate to make that house a home that she had already. Because remember, she has to be a Proverbs 31 woman. She has to have everything already taken care of, already have set. Her storehouse be full. You know, the man can trust in her bosom. She has to get herself prepared too, ladies. You know, my wife would be here to tell that.
Yes.
So she, you know, don't think y'all gonna get away with this. But we're talking about the men. The men have to have all this stuff ready for themselves, and so when they leave and then they cleave, they come and make their house a home, because now that is the men are already here. That's the completing part of the puzzle. You know, when God woke Adam up after he pulled the rib out, he never even knew who this person was, but he said, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. He was in a deep sleep, but he already knew the connection that he had. Like, oh, here we go. Flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. So this is one thing that we have to always remember, that when you leave to cleave, you leave whatever you had over here, and you cleave to everything that's right here. So you have to be faithful to that. Mm-hmm. But God also said, you know, husbands should love their wife like God loved the church. I've been to several churches in my life, and I'm pretty sure the churches is messed up. All churches are messed up. Mm-hmm. Shoot, women are messed up too. Man, we messed up too.
You're going to have the highlight blowing up here in a minute.
But we got to love them despite all of what they've been through. That's how he loved the church. God loved the church. Hey, I know you're going to do this, but hey, I still love you. Hey, I know you're going to deceive me. Hey, I still love you. Hey, I know you're going to lie to me. Hey, I still love you. You got to have that love, and you got to have that fatherly love, because just like when the dad walks his daughter down the aisle, he gives him away. Yeah. So you assume all of those roles of what the dad did, financially, spiritually, emotionally. Only thing the dad didn't do that you can do now is sexually.
Right.
So you got to be like what you got to take on that role. So dads are more. That's a whole nother subject. We talk about dads.
This is something that one of the things when you go to Corinthians, you look at what love is. You know, a lot of times people want to know, am I in love? Is this lust? Like, what is this? And I'm like, well, replace love with that person's name, and that kind of gives you a clue.
Yes.
One of the things that I know a lot of us humans struggle with is that love holds no record of wrongdoings.
Yes, love. One of my favorite scriptures: love's covered a multitude of sin. Mm-hmm. We got to have that. There's three kind of loves we got to have. We got to have a phileo love. We got to have a phileo. We got to have the friendship love. Then we got to have a agape love. We got to have a godly love for someone, and then we got to have the eros love. That's what we got to have with our spouse, and that's that love, that intimate, that passionate love. So that's the kind of love that we need to have all the time. We got to remember those three things: phileo, agape, and eros kind of love. And so remember, like you said, when you take love is kind, love is long suffering, love is this. Replace that word with God. God is kind, God is long suffering. Replace that word with husband. Husband is kind, husband is long suffering. Replace that word with wife. Wife is kind, wife is long suffering. Dad, mom, all that. You replace all that with that, and that is what love is. And so those are the things. The Bible tells the man how to love his wife, but the Bible also told, and people want to challenge me all the time and say, hey, the Bible never told a woman to love a man. Okay, cool. When you show someone respect, that's a form of love. Right. But also, the Bible also talks about us to love thy neighbor. Your husband is your neighbor. A neighbor is somebody who you trust in, somebody who you consult in, somebody who you come next to and talk to about different things. When you show that you love your neighbor, your husband is your neighbor, your wife is your neighbor. You're supposed to love them the same way. It's not the same. It's not the same mantle that the husband has on them, but it's still the same kind of love. Love is action word. Love is this. Love has no expectation. It's just love. No
condition.
Yeah, no condition. It's just love.
That's one thing. It's been really shocking for a lot of people to learn is unconditional love. I didn't think that's the hardest. It's like, I'm going to stay married to you as long as you don't do this, this, and this. Right. So when you put those, is that a boundary or is that a rule? I mean, it's kind of confusing sometimes, I think, to couples, like, what if he did this or what if she did this? Should I leave? Should I stay? Those are the conditions.
Right. And they're mixing up love they're mixing up loving someone with being in love with someone. Mm. Because people fall out of love every day. And my wife and I, we talked about this. We fall out of love every day. When you're in love with someone, you're in love with someone when they wake up in the morning and you know their breath smells bad. You kiss them anyway. Hey, I'm in love with you, because all that stuff makes you blind to it. It just covers all that. It just get all that out the way. So, but when something breaks that euphoria, that's because being in love is euphoria. It's a high. Yeah. When something breaks then that's when your eyes are open, and then now you have to realize, how much do I love this person? How much can this person do to me? Or not how much can they do to me? What am I willing to withstand to where I'ma still be able to love this person? Because number one, we have to love ourselves. Number two, when we love this person, just like a child, we know our child's gonna go to school, gonna embarrass us, they're gonna disrespect us and this, but we love them still. That's an unconditional love, and you gotta have that same love to the person that you are in covenant with, because now you're growing with this person every day. You're not gonna be the same person when you said I do, and then expect to be the same person 5 years from now.
Right.
That you got to remember that I do, but that I do got to have a whole bunch of other stuff attached to it. So that's just some things that people have to realize. I'm in love with this person. I'm in the euphoria with this person. I'm in another dimension with this person. But when I'm not in this dimension with this person, can I still love this person? And that's the thing that they have to realize. Because when you love someone, that's the same thing when you go to marriage counselor. Do you still love that person? That's the first thing they ask you. Mm-hmm. Because if you love them, you can work through it.
I think with God, anything is possible. We're going to take a quick break because we're going to add your beautiful wife to the show. We're going to take a 2-minute break. You're listening to Edge Radio at 101.7 FM, 1540 AM on the all-new Matchmaker Hotline. Coming up in 2 minutes, you get to meet the Hamiltons, backed by popular demand. We'll be right back.
This is former Rocket Robert Reed.
This is Mel Hewitt of Athletes United.
And we want to talk to you about our new program and podcast. We're talking about former athletes who are doing a lot of things in the community.
Various athletes in various sports. Swimming, track, soccer, football, baseball, you name it.
Former and current athletes here in the greater Houston area.
All promoting wellness, health. All promoting that which makes us all better.
Of Edge Radio, truth still matters.
Are you a small business owner concerned about the downturn in the economy? Top business leaders like Mattress Mac and Warren Buffett will tell you that now is the time to promote your business more than ever. People need your services. Your business needs an edge. Learn about special advertising packages for small businesses right here on Edge Radio. Find out more, give us a call at 281-744-0446. That's 281-744-0446. Edge, because truth still matters.
Hey guys, welcome back into Married Date Monday here on the all-new Matchmaker Hotline. It's your girl, Matchmaker Amber Neal. Today, we are talking to the Hamiltons. Welcome into the show, Kenneth and Niecy.
Hey, Amber, you know I love you.
I love you, girl.
We're going way back.
They say we dress for our mood rings. So is yellow like a happy color or something?
Yeah.
So we're faking the funk. Fake it till you make it on Monday, right? I'm like, I'm gonna put this dress on. It's gonna help me get in a good mood.
The producer has on yellow today.
I know.
Shout out to the producer. She looking good wearing Lakers 23 on her. I'm loving it. Shout out Black Lives Matter. She got the number 23 on, so I know somebody black had to have it on.
Gone.
Okay, y'all know nothing about I know about that shelf life. I'm a shelf life.
Well, you're coming in right on time, DC, because what we've been talking about today on Married Date Monday, y'all know I'm trying to cure the divorce rate. People looking like I'm crazy, like, haha, good luck, laughing me out the room. But a lot of the problem is that we go into marriage with the attitude, if it don't work, I'll just get a divorce. And I think especially when we're younger, if we've only seen one toxic thing, or we haven't seen healthy, or we've had no examples, it's very easy for us to just think that's normal. Well, I'll try it, and if I don't like it, I'll do something else. You know what I mean? And this microwave mentality we live in, where next. And before you came out, we were talking about how the millennial generation didn't really believe in marriage anymore. And it's really, I think it's because everybody flowers up the word love. And like you were saying, Kenneth, before the break, in love is like a high that you're on, and people think that part is gonna just last forever, as far as that giddy feelings, and when you're the honeymoon phase, that beginning, and it's sex all the time, and it's just we're in heat for each other. But it's so much bigger than that, because anything that you base your relationship on, whether it's looks, power, fame, fortune, money, sex, that can change, it will affect your relationship, and then you lose everything. So it's kind of like you've got to have that foundation. And at Married Date, we believe that God is that foundation. We believe that is the focus for a healthy relationship, because as humans, I can't stand you sometimes. You know what I mean? That's how it is.
I can't stand Kevin sometimes. Baby. Lord, by no stretch of the imagination.
I just thought you up now, so just wait.
Listen, I love my husband. But baby, when I can't stand him, Lord help me, Jesus, get out the way. It's like, sweet Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
And that's what we were talking about. Like, one of the things when you look in Corinthians, and it's saying love holds no record of wrongdoings, love trusts, love hopes, and it is long suffering. And I want to get everybody out of this delusion of thinking that love is just this flowers and glitter, and it's perfect and it's wonderful, and you're not going to have any problems ever. And right now, couples are finding out, and they're being tested. It's shocking how since the pandemic started, the divorce has even doubled again. We were already at 50%. Now it's doubled again. Like 100% people got divorced out here. I mean, so what is it? Like, that is like, so it brings me back to thinking about unconditional love. And what does that really mean? Because it's so easy to get fluffy. But let's get to the real, because you're not going to always like your spouse. No. They're going to piss you off. You're going to have bad days. You're not going to agree. And some days you're going to want to choke the living life out of them. So it's really about how to get to that part of unconditional, because that's foreign to a lot of people. And this is where I want to ask you guys what your opinion as far as boundaries versus unconditional love. Because one thing, I love that you started this off with about cleaving, meaning leaving your parents and being faithful to your partner, because that's one of the biggest things couples go through is infidelity. Right. That's where it comes to unconditional love versus boundaries. And so, when somebody says, well, is there anything that would make you leave me? Yes, if you cheat on me, I'm going to leave you. Well, you shouldn't. And then they would say, well, you shouldn't do that. You should forgive me and move on. So, and I really think that God can fix anything, but I also think it also depends, is it a one-off thing that was caused from other things, or is it a habitual thing that you're just, at that point, you're iniquity itself. Right. So how do we get to define unconditional love, but keeping our boundaries intact?
So,
take that one, baby.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Let me just first start off by saying this. Marriage is a psychological adjustment. But
Dr. Nisi,
I'm on that. That's right. It's coming out. You feel it? The spirit is here. It's coming out. It's coming in. I'm getting the divine connection from the Lord right now.
Please help us, because we all need help.
Marriage is a psychological adjustment. And when you look at marriage in the tier of marriage in the form of leadership, that's exactly what it is. It's two people saying, I am ready to be responsible for your life and your feelings, and I'm looking forward to being responsible in the continuous position of victory.
Wow.
Okay, so if the strategic position of the marriage isn't from the place of victory, then expect it to fail.
Wow.
Okay? Leadership is no longer a role. It's a responsibility. And if you do not come in with the idea that the responsibility is equally yours as well as it is his, then you are expecting the relationship to fail.
Wow.
Marriage does not require feelings. That's like waking up and saying, God, or that's like waking up and God asking himself if he needs permission to make you successful. God does not need permission to make you successful. God don't owe you nothing but an opportunity. And here it is where God puts us in a strategic position to be recompensed for the time that we have on earth by alleviating the pain of having to go through something alone by giving us recompense through a husband and a wife. One of the things that my husband and I, and one of the boundaries that we teach each other is sometimes when we have issues with learning which person should lead or which person should follow, is I take my husband right back to the Bible where I say, Kenneth, when God created Eve, what did he do to Adam? He said, well, he put him to sleep. I said, yes, but then when Adam got up, what did he do? The first thing Adam started to do was to prophesy. That when Adam prophesied, he said, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone, so shall a what?
No, go ahead, baby, you got this.
But so shall a what? So shall a man what?
So shall a man, I don't know. Leave to cleave.
Leave his mother and his father to cleave to his wife. Today's society, the expectation is that the woman leaves her house to cleave to the man.
Wow.
But you're supposed to cleave to me. What I'm doing leaving my house to come to yours?
I love music.
Why are you leaving
I didn't do that.
your house, ladies, to be at his? I'm not going to your house. You're going to come to mine. And to prove I'm correct, if you go back into Proverbs 31, it says that she will scope out the land and she would find the house.
See, that's what I want. That's good to talk about because there's so much confusion now that women.
Right, we're doing it backwards.
We're doing it backwards.
We're doing it backwards. And what happens when you do things backwards? You get in the order of God when the authority is from the position of victory. Your authority is in order. It's a divine will. To have a divine will is to operate in independence. That's why he says specifically that the two should become one. So yeah, it's going to be very confusing when you haven't created a culture of marriage, and the culture of marriage hasn't been cultivated before the marriage even happens. So then I get in a position where I'm in my feelings. And that's where women are a lot of times. Yeah. I'm in my feelings. I feel this way and I feel that way and I feel. Well, hold on, sister, partner, homegirl.
I told y'all she's
Well, hold on. Because when I'm in my feelings, then my discernment is impaired.
Amen.
Then I cannot listen to my husband when he is supposed to trust in my bosom. But my bosom comes with judgment. My bosom comes with strife. My bosom comes with all the stuff that I expect you to heal about me before the relationship even got started. So I cannot honor the marriage from the position of victory, because I come to this thing expecting you to heal me in a place where I'm hurt at. So we can't even develop a culture for marriage. And when you're in your feelings, when this is the only proposition, when this is the only ward of problems that I'm asking you to fix constantly, which is my feelings, what happens is I put you and myself in a position where my vision becomes perverted.
Wow.
And that's what happens when we get to talking about divorce. The vision of the marriage is perverted along the way. So then you have to go back and reevaluate expectations. When I decided to marry you, what was the expectation? What was the mindset? If the two becoming one, this is God's way of saying, listen, I need you guys to develop a culture, and it needs to be so tight, it needs to be so thick that the world can't come in.
Right.
This is the reason why the Bible says that do not be conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. To be conformed means the outside in. What my girlfriends think, what my mom and them say, what my grandma said. This is the outside in. What my people and them say, my family and them said about my husband. What my daddy and them think about my husband. You can only what my kids say about him. That's conforming.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot.
In order to conform, you have to be calmed into the position. Mm-hmm. To be transformed is from the inside out. So here it is. God gave the coronavirus, right? To put the people, his sons and daughters, who can understand the position of victory prophetically. Okay, because remember, prophets understand the mind of God. Okay, apostles understand the system of God. This is very, very, very important. What happened with women, what wives, potential wives are doing, what they're doing is they'll have the mind of God. This means you have a foresight. Right? You can see something happening before it's happening. And then what you try to do is you control situations with your mouth, which makes you a witch.
Wow.
And that's what's not talked about. So you got a lot of women walking around here with the mind of God, but with the mouth of a witch. You can't control, I can't control this man.
Amen. Nothing
I can control this man right here. No matter what I think, no matter how I feel, no matter what the proposition is, no matter the strategic positioning, nothing I do personally can control my husband. What I can do is alleviate stress for him, because if his job is to trust in my bosom, then how can he trust in my bosom if I'm always throwing my problems, what I need him to fix for me emotionally and physically on him? When he got time to tell me something?
Y'all see why they're like my popular demand?
when he got time?
Good man.
That's making sense? Is everybody
That's why she called me a cat. Because one thing I know about cats, you can't train a cat. You can train a dog.
That's right.
But cats make you earn their respect.
Yes.
And when men want to call themselves kings, what's a lion? When you call a lion a king with a dog, what's a lion? A cat.
Mm-hmm.
A big cat.
But what people don't understand about the kingdom of being a lion is that it's the women that go out and do the hunting. The man only step in when he needs to step in. She the one doing all that. But if you go back and read Proverbs 31, so is she. It says she working in the morning, she working in the night. She's selling stuff at the merchant ship. She got storehouse. I'm like, when this heifer got time to sleep? I'm like, who wants to be a Proverbs 31 woman in 2020? I'm like, did you brush your teeth, sister?
We got Proverbs 28.5 with
Right, 29.5A, section B, subpoena code of law.
And I'm like, thank God for this, because if the sister had to call her house, she would be late everywhere she had to go. And I'm like, God, this training is good. Thank you for wigs. Thank you.
And that's the thing that I love about you coming on, because you guys actually break down the word. But a lot of people kind of know the surface.
Right. You know, they know surface ministry.
They don't know.
This ain't a service relationship.
Yeah, it ain't a surface
We
relationship.
done went through too much.
My God. And listen, healing, if you want to be attractive, the requirement is to heal.
Amen. I've been saying it forever.
If you want to be attractive to your mate, the requirement is to heal. We did intervention where I have to go raise some money out in Cleveland, Ohio.
Right.
And I did a speech and I said, okay, baby, I'm like, okay, measure me, tell me what I did and da-da-da. And as I'm speaking, always, God is always speaking to me and through me. And as I'm talking, I said, I don't need y'all to feel sorry for me. God didn't feel sorry for me. He used my story so he could get the glory. I'm proud of that. I said, what you should be asking is who was in this position before I got here that they didn't do the job that I had to come in and do it.
Wow.
That God needed my life as a sacrifice to do what somebody else wasn't willing to do before Niecy Hamilton, expert of human trafficking, got here. Then I said, why y'all worried about me being on stripper poles and being all that twerking and all that other kind of stuff? I said, my husband looked at me and said, girl, get that pole, bring it in this bedroom and let me cover you in the name of Jesus. He like, don't throw that dance move away. I need you to do it on the handstand in this bedroom over here. See, God called me. Why y'all trying to figure out the story? He had me to be husband number 4. Whichever way you want to look at it. He proud. He like, I'm number 4 sometimes, and sometimes I'm number 5.
Sometimes number 5.
And he is. It is because I did have a trafficking experience where my pimps, I was a mail order bride. I was forced into this dysfunctional orientation of life that was a very perverted experience that I lived through. But not one day goes by where I force my husband to relive that experience with me. His job is to cover me because he can trust in my bosom. I got time to hear what he think about what happened to me, right? So now here it is. God can recompense time for me when I hear my husband say, baby, I hate that happened to you. Oh, you do? Let me tell you what else. Baby, I hate that. No, we're going to kill that. We're going to strike that right there in the name of Jesus. Can't nobody else do that. I'm going to be this right here for you.
Yeah, I said that on the plane to you yesterday.
I love you so much. I'm going to love you through all of that. No, scratch that. We're going to change history right there. He gets excited about developing a culture, revitalizing the enemy's plan that the enemy had for me. He gets excited about that because now the kingdom can inherit this. Yeah. And I told Keith, I said, listen, we're going to fix this now on earth because the Bible said, so it is in heaven, so it is on earth. What you loose in heaven to be loosed on earth, and what you loose on earth to be loosed in heaven. And I'm like, don't be loose in that riffraff here on earth because I'm not trying to hook up with another spirit up in heaven.
Exactly.
Because you can't.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? This is a one flesh bond.
That's right.
You got flesh, you got salt bonds, you have one flesh bonds, you have blood sacrificial bonds. That stuff needs to be discussed. Seriously. This is why coherently the discussion of rape is talked about.
Yes.
Because people don't, it's so dysfunctional. You don't look at an abuser who will go and read the Bible and see the part where it talks about rape in the Bible. And the Bible says, if a man rape you that guy, he is supposed to marry you and to cover you. If he rape you, that's your one flesh bond right there. Okay, that's there. What's perverted is the order. That man went in order. The girl becomes an illegal sacrifice. Boom. That's a way for the enemy to creep into that woman's life, and all she remembers is that negative impact of that experience, right? When God said, no, I broke the veil over that. This is why I give you husbands, so he can cover you. And he gonna love you so much that he gonna love you through that. And that shouldn't even be a problem, because my bond, your love and respect and honor, your submission to me, your trust for me should be so above everything in this whole wide world that he gets the opportunity, that you give me the opportunity to work through him so you can feel my love. That's the difference. That is the difference. Then you got other women who come into the relationship, I'm gonna get married, I'm controlling everything. I'm controlling the money, I'm controlling the house, I'm controlling this, I control that. Oh, control. Seriously. Listen, you know what I hear? Witch. A witch and a prostitute are both prophets, they're just perverted.
Wow.
I can say that. Because I'm from a stance of victory. Yes. Ain't nobody mad but the devil. When you are a witch, witches, what they do is they like to control things that they have no authority to control. So they push, force, or coerce authority. We watch this happen in the Bible.
Yeah.
People, Jezebel. That's the only one you know? Y'all remember Rebecca? When she lied and said Jacob was Esau and she covered her own son up so he could get the blessing. Y'all remember that?
Mm. A lot of people don't remember because they don't know about it.
You know, these are women who, I ain't saying she was wrong for what she's doing. That could have been strategic. That could have been, a strategic position.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Look a little witchy to me. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? We have to develop a sense. That's why we say, let those who have eyes see and ears hear. We have to develop a sense of perspective. Perspective is important because when you have a good perspective, you have good clarity. And you need clarity so you can know when things are dead.
Wow.
This culture, coronavirus came to kill a culture that was dead in the kingdom of God.
I know that's right. It did give people a big chance to reevaluate.
That's why I be letting her loose. That girl be cute.
Amazing, though. I mean, I swear I could listen to you all day. Like,
See,
I mean,
here's the thing.
I just be up here like I'm watching a movie.
Here's the thing with a lot of men in this culture today. You know, they always want to be the ones that's in the forefront. Always want to be the ones to speak. Always want to be that. They too busy being the cup instead of taking a seat back. As you see, my wife's talking. I'm like, I need to be near the mic. I'm gonna be a salsa today. Because when that cup start running over, that salsa does what? It catches everything that's right there. So it ain't no problem being a salsa.
Right.
You know, it's okay to be it's okay. You can be a cup, then it's okay to be a salsa. You know, my wife is a cup right now. See, when that cup running over, I'm just like, oh yeah, baby, yeah, come on with it. Come on with it. Come on with it. We're gonna put it in my prayer closet and we're gonna work this thing out.
But that's the Bible. The Bible says that a man who finds a wife
finds a good
thing and obtaineth favor. To obtain favor means to be in the position of. Period. The word of in math means to multiply.
Wow.
I can't make this up. I ain't no rocket science. I got 2 MBAs.
Tell them what the thing is, baby. When you're a good thing, what it is.
Thing. Think about the word thing. Thing don't have a position, ain't got a strategy, ain't got a movement, ain't got a height, ain't got a weight, ain't got a depth. You can't tell how big the ass and the titties is. It's a thing. You don't care about how long the hair is, what color the eyes is, if it's got lashes on it, if it's got nails on it. It's a thing. That's why it's your thing. Do what you want to do. Mm-hmm. How? When I'm not in the position of. So if of means to multiply, so this means that this man is gonna multiply. That means that God is, because per his word, obtaineth favor, to multiply is the equivalent of bride's wealth. You can't be in a position to receive bride's wealth, man, if you doing every damn thing.
Exactly.
Sit down. You don't need to be everything for her. When you gonna let God be something for you, so you can be something for her?
Right.
When you are a man of God and the position is of leadership, then God should be able to use you in a way so much so that she should be able to see God in you, respect God in you, and love God through you.
And that comes back to, and that's all coming back to how just like I was trying to say that about dads being important in the lives of, boys and girls. Like it's so important for dads to be in the life of a son, because now you sit here and the son can sit here and obtain everything that the dad is doing, learning how the dad handles bills, how he handles his your mom, which is his wife, and things like that. And then also for the daughters, it learns how the daughters learn how a man's supposed to treat a woman, how he's supposed to do this. Like, you know, in my opinion, and I had an argument with people about this. It's like, man, dad's is like the first girlfriend, the first boyfriend, the first husband to his daughter, because now he has when he gives her away, like we said earlier, he gives her away. You have to assume all those roles, and so now these daughters are looking like, okay, well, my dad did this, my dad can do this. What can you do for me? You know, can you provide the same thing that my dad provided me and more? Because if a woman have to go to her dad to say, hey, dad, can you do this for me? Then
he gonna ask what the hell.
Yeah, he gonna. Yeah, me. Let one of my daughters say, hey, dad, can you pay this for me? First, he'll say, where your man at?
Exactly.
And where your husband at? And then after she tell me anything other than he out of a job because of a situation that was uncontrollable, then I need to talk to him. No matter
he need to go talk to you himself.
Yeah, he need to come talk to me. Don't you send this woman over here to come talk to me about something that you need for your house. You come to me.
That's been a problem too. It's been like, I don't know what it is, but there's a study saying like how 30-something-year-old men, they're calling it a failure to launch. Like it's because they're raised by single moms, and I don't know if they just don't know like how to be that man or whatever it is, but they're saying there's a problem with men around 28 to 32 that are struggling to launch and become a man.
When you're in the position where you only see one parent in operation, you only see, especially if it's a woman, remember, mind of God, mouth of a witch. All you see her doing is forcing outcomes.
Wow, that's so true.
When you see somebody constantly forcing outcomes as a man, then you get in a relationship with your wife trying to do the same thing where you're forcing outcomes. And so now you're not a witch, you're a warlock because you've been trained by a witch.
Wow.
And most of these mamas don't even know that they are witches. This stuff is important.
It's so important.
I don't know why the church not talking about it or should have been talking about it.
Seriously.
But even God to shut that stuff down. Like, you ain't gonna show my word. You ain't gonna show my word proof so that the kingdom kids can know both the position of the enemy as well as mine, so that they can get this right. Shut it down. Shut it down. Because I'll make sure it come from a secular source if you ain't gonna say it.
See, and that's what we're trying to do with Married Date. I feel like the church
This is a secular source. This is a secular source that is anointed. You are anointed to be in this position.
Amen.
To give a word to people who otherwise couldn't hear this.
Yeah, you got the authority for that.
Why the churches are talking about sex. They shy away from sex, but then you want to be having sex with people all in the church and the congregation and all this other kind of stuff, and you putting the church before your wife. How?
It's so much sex in the Bible. We ain't talking about just physical sex. It's so much mental sex, so much emotional sex, so much spiritual. It's way more spiritual sex than it is physical sex in the Bible, and that's what we fail to discount as humans. We fail to discount that we are emotionally or spiritually raping these kids or these people or men. The men are spiritually raping the women, and the women are spiritually raping the men, and then that gets into their body, and then it gets to their spirit, and then they don't check that thing, or they don't eject that thing out and have the blood cover them or cleanse them, and all of a sudden they're just taking that and they're pushing over. That's why God calls it a soul tie when you have sex. That's why every time when a man lays with a woman, and every time that he hopefully I can say this on air, when he ejaculates, there's a droplet of blood in each count of sperm that's in there, and that blood meaning that's a spirit, that's a soul, that's a spiritual tie right there. So every time you do that, that's why when what's his name in the Bible, when he kept putting his seed on the ground and God cursed him and killed him.
Yeah.
Just like that, like you failed to reproduce. You took your plan and decided to do what you do with it. So I'm gonna kill you because you're not trying to raise up people in my name. You're not trying to do those things.
Let's take a break, but we gotta take a quick break because we got to do our station identification. But we come back. Y'all call in 281-587-1540. We gotta take a quick 1 minute break here on Edge Radio. We're coming back in. This is so great. This is gonna help so many people. Amen. 281-587-1540. Y'all call us. We'll get you on the hotline. We'll be right back on Edge Radio.
We work our whole lives to support our families. With one accident or illness, it can all be gone in an instant. Now there's a smart, affordable way to protect your family. Go to findhealthbenefits.com and discover low-cost life insurance for as little as $2 per month. Add to that a tax-deferred annuity that can help you protect your assets and grow your money for retirement. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. A critical illness strike without warning and wipe out your life savings. In fact, it's the reason for bankruptcy. Find Health Benefits offers an affordable solution. Get up to $50,000 if you get cancer, stroke, or a heart attack, giving you the peace of mind to focus on getting better while the plan helps you to pay your bills and medical expenses. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. 66% of seniors spend more time shopping for cable TV than Medicare plans. Most say because it's just too confusing. Laws change every year. The wrong plan could cost you thousands and prevent you from seeing the doctors you want. Introducing FindHealthBenefits.com. Save time, save money, see specialists without referrals. Go to FindHealthBenefits.com or call 877-235-6094 for this informative brochure.
Society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio. Because truth still matters.
We work our whole lives to support our families. With one accident or illness, it can all be gone in an instant. Now there's a smart, affordable way to protect your family.
Hey guys, welcome back into Married Monday. You are listening to Edge Radio 101.7 FM, 1540 AM. It's your girl, Matchmaker Amber Neal. Today we're talking to the Hamiltons. Welcome back into the show, Kenneth and Niecy. Man, it was hard to take a break. I mean, that was such a good conversation. I'm like, hey, we got to do this right now, but we're going to come right back. If you guys want to jump in on the conversation, 281-587-1540. Man, you're going to get some knowledge today. We are taking a collection plate. Give us our cash app. Our collection plate is cash app. No, I'm kidding. But okay, so what were we saying before the break, Kenneth? You were talking about soul ties and how a lot of people don't understand what soul ties are. So can you just go back to that a little bit?
Yeah. So as I was just talking about, people, we were talking about the Bible, how a lot of people, it's a lot of sex in the Bible, and people think that sex has to be physical. No, it's a lot of sex in the Bible that has to do with spiritual sex, emotional sex, mental, all those things like that. And so the main thing that we normally hit on if you read the Bible, all my theologians out there, if you read the Bible, it's a lot of spiritual sex. It's a lot of spiritual rape that's going on out there. Mm-hmm. And even in our culture, even in our society today, the men are spiritually raping the women are spiritually raping the men. This stuff gets in our bodies and we don't check that. We don't sit here and go back and check ourselves and have the blood of Jesus plead over us. Just pour over us to cleanse us and to clarify a lot of things. And so we hop into relationships so fast without even cleansing a lot of stuff. So therefore all that residue comes in, and when that residue comes in, it's like filth. It just continues to grow. It's still bacteria. So bacteria just need warmth. It need emotions. It need like a sense of loneliness. It needs a fear of loss, and all that stuff begin to fester and grow. When it festers and grows like that, it begins to thwart the idea of the relationship. And then also we jump into our own way of thinking and hop into relationships with people who we shouldn't even be with. And that's what I was going to tell you earlier about the women. My wife was talking about saying that, don't just, we wanted to put a disclaimer, don't just hop into any relationship so you can save your children from being growing up without a dad or anything like that.
Don't do that. That's controlling the outcome.
It's controlling the outcome. You still have to do your part as a single woman to get yourself ready, and then when you get ready, God is gonna put a man. He's gonna put you in a position to be found, just like with Rahab, just like with Boaz. When he found, she was in a position. If she went out there gleaning, my wife said she was gleaning. She was out there twerking.
She was back there twerking. That's
what she said. Gleaning is.
You got to bend over. And so I'm in there reading it, and I'm like, God, you for real? She was backing that thing up now. She had to have
He's sitting out there on his loft. He's looking like.
He was like, who that is?
Who that is?
You see her?
Hey, whoever that is, don't mess with her.
Yeah, he He called him in. He said, back. Give her 50 feet. Don't even talk to her. Don't talk to her.
Social
Make sure she gets some work when she's done. Come over here.
Yourself 6 feet. Prayer. 6 feet. And wear your mask.
Oh man.
Don't get close.
So imagine
I ain't the killer, but don't push.
He said God can't be fun.
Imagine if Ruth was not in that position. Imagine if she was in her. Imagine if she was in her feelings. Yes. Imagine if she was in her own will, her own way. She'd have missed out on that opportunity.
Having a pity party here. I'm a widow.
I'm a widow. You know, I done came from another tribe to try to adopt another tribe's ideologies when I'm in a place where these people don't even mess with me and all this stuff. She
was a Moabite woman. She came from a city of incest.
Yeah.
We're talking about, could you imagine her when she left with her mother-in-law? Baby, she took covering with her. Then when she got covering, she took confidence with her. She took everything that the Lord needed to make her into what God did was afford her the opportunity to turn her pain into an opportunity, and then recompensed her by redeeming her time that she lost with her original husband. When you redeem something, to deem something means to own it. When you redeem it, it means to re-own it.
That's right.
She was able to re-own, recover, re-recompense for her time that she missed with her husband, from her first husband with Naomi's son to being with one of Naomi's cousin and them. Okay, because listen, Boaz with no pop. See, Boaz's mama was Rahab. Boaz knew how to look at women because his mama was out there in the streets. Rahab was about that life. So when Rahab, could you imagine the conversation Rahab would have with her children? You looking for a woman, she need to be like this. She need to be. Cause I know when I talk to my kids, they were like, "Mama, you used to be a stripper." Sure was, baby. Mama, me and girl that got a little street in them, little this in them, little that in them. You know what I'm saying? He knew his mama came from a broken place. His mama, Boaz's mama, was in a position of authority, but was looked at as somebody that was beneath everybody. So he knew what that felt like to see a woman that was in that position, somebody who was community oriented and was about family and protection of the family, and somebody who did what they needed to do. When the story got to Boaz, the story was that she took care of her mother-in-law. What was he thinking? Shoot, my mama took care of our family too. That was the attraction. And that's what I tell women all the time. Listen, the first relationship with your man, with your husband, is not in matrimony, it's through the testimony. See, Boaz's testimony from his mother is what attracted him to Ruth. Amen. He knew so that was so there's a testimony relationship before there's a matrimony relationship. That needs to be honored and discovered. Me and my husband known each other since the 2nd grade. Wow. You got 23, 24 years of friendship. I went through all of that crazy wacko stuff only for the same man I knew in the 2nd grade. Somebody we was coloring and gluing on macaroni. Macaroni.
Back then.
Gluing, put the licorice piece and make the spiders with the licorice.
little fur, little things, and we had the little color. They make the paper bag things like that.
We were paper bag talking to each other. We was talking to each other with the inside.
The little color.
Oh, that's cute.
Hey. Shout it with your name. What's your name is? Shout it. That was our relationship. Yeah. So could you imagine us being together? We had a testimony.
Yes.
Before there was matrimony between Kenneth and I. And I'm glad that the experience of Satan crept in and tried to pervert the experience. But the love. The love. Just, oh my God, I love you so much.
I love you too, baby.
Oh my God. And you love me so much. And we looked at each other and we was like, well, if I die, one time I tried to leave. Kimberly, you ain't going nowhere. I said, well, I guess I'm just gonna be stuck in a marriage with you.
Yeah, that was gonna be stuck in on me a slave. I'm like, okay.
I was like, get mad with me. He was like, wow, I said, to make it feel better.
I'm just gonna be with you. I'm like, cool. I'm gonna leave this room. Hey, I'm going to the store. You want something to eat?
Yeah, you want
just bring me back a cup of ice.
Why am I mad at you right now? Don't come feed me while I'm here.
Because
you want something to eat?
God says, husbands love your wives like God loves the church. The church be mad at God. He don't care.
I don't care about your feelings. You still gonna do what I told you.
Right? I still gotta love you. I still got stuff to do.
I know you're hungry, so hurry up.
And that's the thing, guys. You still gotta be a man, no matter what. You're a man. You're a man, but you still gotta be a husband. And don't let your manhood compromise your husbandry. And that's what we tend to do a lot. We let our manhood. I ain't gonna let no woman talk to me like that. I ain't let my dad didn't let my mama talk to him like that. I ain't my sister let her husband talk to him like that. I ain't gonna let a woman do me like this.
Conflict.
That's something you gotta take to the throne.
That's good.
Don't take it to her.
That's good.
That's what Moses did. Moses took it to the people. He took his frustration to the people instead of taking it to God. In that moment when he could have had everything going on, he took his frustration out on that rock. And you messed up. Don't smite this rock. When you smite this rock, it's a done deal.
Just speak to it. That speaks to leadership. So what that tells me is that you can be in a relationship and be a leader, but be not developed in leadership skills.
Yeah.
See, that's the difference. It's one thing to be a leader. It's another thing to have the skill to be the leader. Mm-hmm. Skills are important. To be skillful at something means that you can do without thinking. If somebody gave you a knife and put a carrot in front of you, would you?
I'm a blue wide, bayonet, I'm a dice it, I'm a slice it.
It's gonna be look at the flick of the wrist. If you give me a knife and a carrot, I'm gonna look at you and say, what you want me to do with that? You gotta tell me. Tell me what you need me to do, because I have no authority in this position right here, but I do through my husband. Because if he's my husband, this is my strategic partner.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they gave it to him; he will automatically know what to do with it, right? But because he has a divine intelligence, right? Then I inherit. This is like a perpetuity gland. I become a possessor of his talent immediately, because one thing about talent is the requirement is that the desire is it to not fail. So if he's my husband and he's operating in a talent, okay, he has a gift. He's got character. His character, his gift got so much character that if he was to see me with the knife and the carrot, one or two things is gonna happen. He gonna say, baby, let me show you what to do with it. Or he gonna look at me and say, baby, let me take this off of your hand. You ain't even got to do it, because I know what to do with it. Problem solved. Ladies, if you're gonna go into this marriage, you have to be able to be a secondary person where you allow your husband's gift to have character in your life. Don't pervert the character, because what happens is gifts without character will have you gossiping about something that you should be praying about.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. Mm-hmm. You know, it's interesting because I saw that a fourth of divorces were caused because of household chores. Oh, yeah. That is something, like seriously, because if you marry a traditional man and he wants a woman to cook and clean and be that housewife, but yet you have a career too, then it comes, that can be a challenge to overcome. Because if he's stuck like, this is the way I want it, how do you compromise in this situation? If he's hard, like, I want to take some of it too. I
had some revelatory knowledge. I had some revelatory knowledge thanks to you, baby. They still worked out. So here's the deal. So a little bit about me. I grew up, I'm the youngest of 3 kids. I'm the only boy. Mm-hmm. So I grew up with my mom and dad. I knew how to wash clothes at 10. Mm-hmm. I knew how to work on cars at 12. Wow. I knew how to do a lot of things. I was an uncle at 12. So I knew how to take care of kids. By the time I was 16, I already had 3 nephews and 2 nieces. So taking care of kids was second nature for me.
Yeah.
So now I went through my first marriage where she brought on a kid. She brought on 2 kids, and then now I'm in my marriage now where now we have together, I still have my only child that I had at 19, and we have one, and together we have 7 children. So I always, and my dad, I love my dad. My dad, Kenneth Hamilton the first, that's my boy. I love him to death. He taught me how to be a great provider, how to work with my hands, how to be very skillful. He never taught me the word of God. That's something I assimilated out my years of my life. But I didn't hold it against him. And he apologized to me for that, and I love him to death. So
that's huge, because my dad was an atheist and never knew. So there was no apology. There was no.
See, he loved God, but he didn't. He said, I'm sorry, son, I didn't take you to church. I'm sorry I didn't read the Bible with you. I'm sorry I didn't bring you up in this way. And I said, Dad, no worries. You did the best you knew how to do. You did the best you could with what you had.
Exactly.
And your time. Can't fault you for that. So now here I am in this relationship. My wife can cook. She can cook. She know how to cook. She know how to clean.
Y'all heard that?
She know how to clean. God, she know how to clean. That girl know how to clean. She take 3 hours in one room, but that girl can clean.
I'm clean.
She can clean. And she know how to. She can raise kids. Obviously, she know how to do that. But my wife has been through a lot of traumatic situations to where she still has a lot of recompense, a lot of recovering to do.
Yeah.
And so me being someone who haven't went through what she went through, but I went through my own trials and testimonies and things like that, I'm able to come in and take care of some things. But I also have that man mentality where I take over a lot of stuff. So I had to learn how to trust in my helpmate who is suitable for me, because she is. And so this is a process. This has nothing to do with my manhood, but this has something to do with a lot of control. And like she said, with my talent, I was afraid of failure. And a lot of men, the one thing they don't want to do, they don't want to fail in their marriage. But they end up failing in their marriage because they were too busy trying instead of doing. And so I had to learn how to do. I was trying every day, but I had to just keep doing it. And I would talk to my wife. I say, babe, remember when we went through all this? And it was great. Before we married, she said, yeah, we were really good. You know, so I said, yeah, I was doing. But now when I'm trying, I'm messing up. And so, she forgave me for that. I apologize. She forgave me for it. And so after that forgiving process, I learned to move forward and analyze my own thoughts. And so I was always taking over a lot of things. I never gave her any assignments to do. I never gave her anything to do because this is my helpmate. So she's there she's sharp as a whip. She got more degrees than the thermostat. Yeah. So with that being said, I was so busy doing like now. My wife know how to wash clothes, but I wash all the clothes. I know how to cook. I mean, that's my profession. I'm a chef. My wife know how to cook. If I'm not cooking at night, I can easily say, babe, could you cook for us? Or say, hey, what you want to do? Do you want to go out to eat? Taking care of the kids. Hey, I know how to take care of kids, babe. I'm gonna take care of this. But I'm so busy. I'm not so busy, but I'm making sure that she still has a lot of things that she needs to get from God. So I don't mind taking over those things, but I also had to learn how to take a step back and say, babe, could you do this for me? Because the more I took over things, the more it made her feel like, well, what do you need me here for? Besides here for sex and somebody to talk to. Because that's what's gonna happen with a lot of women in these days. If you don't give them assignments, remember, you're supposed to trust in their bosom. You're supposed to trust in their bosom. If you don't trust in their bosom, then be mad at yourself because you picked the wrong person.
Amen.
Or you didn't cultivate. Right. You didn't cultivate them long enough to say, hey, this is what I do. Don't forget. Good fences build good neighbors. Right. So y'all have to talk about these boundaries. It ain't nothing y'all can't work out with a conversation. Hey, babe, this is what's going on with me. This is what bothers me. Hey, babe, I need you to do this. Hey, babe, you do that. Listen to each other, talk to each other, and that way you can understand, hey, what do you do? She said, baby, I can cook and clean, but I can't do half the things that you can do because I got other things I need to do. And she told me that. She said, if you wasn't here, I have to do it. But since you're here, I don't have to do it. I choose to do it. Yeah. And the same thing with me. It's a choice. That's the greatest blessing and gift that God gave us, is a choice. I just love to cook, so I'm always cooking. But if I don't want to cook, hey, babe, do you mind cooking for us? Or cooking, whatever?
Well, he don't even have to ask in the Hamilton house. He don't even have to ask.
she just go pick it up.
Go do it.
She just go do it. But the thing is that you have to converse with your helpmate. You have to trust in her bosom. And if you don't trust in her bosom, think about what choices you made to where you couldn't trust in her bosom. Because remember, a lot of this stuff is a disposition that the men have with themselves that they project on their wife or their spouse or whoever you want it to be. You project it on her. So go back and check yourself, because remember, your leadership is God. You get the information from God. After that, you deliver it to her. But if you too busy trying to tell her to go in front of God, God's gonna be like, what are you sitting there in front of me for? I gave the mantle to you. I can easily take you out the way and then have her do it, or do even better, I'll raise somebody else up and just go ahead and move you out the way. And then just make this quiet transition, and then you're gonna be sitting here looking like, oh, well, she crazy, that's why she went with me, or you know, she didn't trust me. Of course she didn't trust you, because you didn't do what you were supposed to do.
Wow. And then here's the thing, I like how you brought that up, baby. The effectiveness of what it is that you're trying to get your mate to do when it comes down to chores. Here's the thing, you have to analyze, where did you get those ideas from? Because that's where the effectiveness of that idea working in your relationship. This is why culture is important.
Right.
Culture is the epitome of manifestation. What might have manifested or was culturally acceptable in the relationship of your parents, in the relationships of your friends, in the relationship of the family members that you have watched, that does not mean that the effectiveness of that will be prepared or receptible in your own relationship.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean that it'll be happenstance that it's going to work the same way you saw it work from Mary and Joe and Suzanne and Tom and all of them. You cannot do that. And here it is where we see men, like I said, coming from the single parent household, forcing outcomes. I remember Kenneth a year ago sent me a thing. I mean, I must have went off. It said something 60% of marriages end if the man do the chores. And around the time he sent me that, we was getting into we was getting into it with each other. And so when he sent me that, he was like, "Oh, baby, you know, I sent that as a joke, but I had internalized. I made myself a victim.
Got in the feelings.
Yeah, I got in my feelings. So my judgment, my discernment was impaired quickly because I was relating our issue with what that post had said about the 60% of the men doing chores. If they do chores in a marriage relationship, they end up in divorce.
Interesting.
And I went and had a conversation with Kenneth, and I was like, what is it that you need me to do so that we can be effective together? And he was like, well, I fear that if I ask you to do something and it don't get done timely, then I don't want to hate you for not doing it in the time that I expected you to do it, so I just do it on my own. So his way of trying to control an outcome came through mental oppression.
Right.
Because of the expectations that he saw in his mother and father's relationship and how it ended. He put that on me. So that lets me know that when you are hurt, what people will do is they will look for healing in the place where they hurt it from the people who hurt them. And you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to objectify that. You cannot comfort yourself with that, because one thing for sure is I'm an uncontrollable variable. You don't know what I'm going to do, say, think, how I'm going to feel. You cannot pressure me with the idea of what could, shoulda, woulda, almost did happen.
It's not just a metaphor either.
Right,
Exactly.
right. And mentally, especially men who are, my husband is high conflict, but he's also he's a logical person.
Yeah,
So
very
logical. Yeah, he's very logical. He analytical. Yeah, he wants the logic in something, and if he can't see how something will work, he will cancel it out immediately. And so here it is where, and we putting y'all in our business, where his job is to lead to cleave, right?
Yeah.
You leave your mother and your father. Not me. You, bruh. You. Leave your mama now. I had to go back in and read that scripture. I remember sitting down talking to my husband. I said, baby, why is the requirement that I do something that God didn't even ask me to do if this is what Adam prophesied to Eve? That means he had divine, instantaneous revelation from God. He started speaking about relationships. How you speak about a relationship you ain't never been in one?
Wow.
How did you get divine revelation about relationships you've never been in one? How did you get revelatory knowledge about marriage you've never been in one?
Mm-hmm.
Because he had just woke up.
Wow.
Think about that. And here it is, the whole position that Adam put Eve in, the reason why she had even disrupted the system. She was a disruptor. She disrupted the system in the Garden of Eden when she went and ate from the fruit, because she was so busy in her feelings when she saw Adam giving all the names to the animals that she thought, you couldn't take out the time to pay attention to me, but you could give me revelatory knowledge that I got to go do something stupid to get your attention, all because you wouldn't give me a name?
Women still doing that today.
Adam never gave Eve a name until after she sinned. See, Eve was in the back watching Adam do all his work, but he wasn't paying attention to her.
He did give a name. He said, "This woman."
Well, he called her, but that's all he said. He told her the position she was in. He said, "You flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. So I'm gonna call you a woman, a man with a womb." That was it. He said, "This is what I'm gonna call you. This is your position to me." That was just it. But she never had a name because she saw Adam naming those animals, and she thought, well, clearly my name ain't woman because you a man and your name is Adam. What you gonna do? Walk around calling me a woman all damn day? Mm-hmm. That's it? You feel what I'm saying? And this is the reason why, for real, this is the reason why women get so offended when men call us bitches and hoes. I don't know if I can say it, but this is why we get so offended, and this is in a professional bitch hoe. This is why we get so offended, because how you gonna call me outside of my name? That didn't just happen today. Exactly. That happened since the beginning of time. Wow. Adam was calling her outside of her name. He didn't give her a name. And what that means is you did not honor me. And so what I hear when I hear you speaking about that, when you asked about the chores, the chores is all about honor. If you ever want to see somebody successful, all you have to do is look at who they honored. Wow. Success comes from honor. Men are gravitating to the leadership role of marriage, and they want all the fixings. You know how I am about the fixings.
Yeah, the fixings.
And certain places I go to, I'll be like, and tell them give me all the fixings too.
We're from Texas.
Yeah, we're from Texas. I want the fixings. And part of the fixings is honor.
Yeah.
Can you honor me enough to make sure if I'm gonna go out and work all day, my drawers is clean?
So in that situation where he's adamant that that's what he wants as far as a woman cooking and doing certain things, you think it's just the honorable thing to do to go ahead and do that? Even if you don't feel it's fair, you feel like you should just do it anyway as a woman?
Well, here's the thing. When you're in a marriage relationship, it's not about what's fair. It's not about right and wrong. Okay,
it's about getting the job done.
And it's not even about that. Right now you're going into the next, because marriage evolved into submission.
Okay, well, let's take a break and come back and talk about that, because we got to take a quick break. Man, this has been a great show. It goes by so fast. I know. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Edge Radio, 101.7 FM, 1540 AM on the all-new Matchmaker Hotline. We got about 20 minutes left in the show. If you got a question for the Hamiltons, call us and join the party, 281-587-1540. We'll be back in 1 to 2 minutes. See you then.
We work our whole lives to support our families. With one accident or illness, it can all be gone in an instant. Now there's a smart, affordable way to protect your family. Go to findhealthbenefits.com and discover low-cost life insurance for as little as $2 per month. Add to that a tax-deferred annuity that can help you protect your assets and grow your money for retirement. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. A critical illness strike without warning and wipe out your life savings. In fact, it's the reason for bankruptcy. Find Health Benefits offers an affordable solution. Get up to $50,000 if you get cancer, stroke, or a heart attack, giving you the peace of mind to focus on getting better while the plan helps you to pay your bills and medical expenses. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. 66% of seniors spend more time shopping for cable TV than Medicare plans. Most say because it's just too confusing. Laws change every year. The wrong plan could cost you thousands and prevent you from seeing the doctors you want. Introducing FindHealthBenefits.com. Save time, save money, see specialists without referrals. Go to FindHealthBenefits.com or call 877-235-6094 for this informative brochure.
Society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio. Because truth still matters.
We work our whole lives to support our family.
Hey guys, welcome into the Matchmaker Hotline here on Married Mondays. We are back in studio with the Hamiltons. Welcome back into the show. If you guys want to jump in, don't know if you have time, but we'll try to get to you. 281-587-1540 if you have a question. Before the break, we have been covering so many great topics about marriage and how, God's already written it out. It's written. It's plain, okay? It's when we get out of order as humans and we're of the world instead of God, that's when things get kind of kooky. One of the biggest things that we have to talk about that a lot of women and men don't want to hear is the S word, and that is submission. When is it time for the S word, okay? Because so women, that's the worst word on the planet. When do we submit? Well, one of my friends, Nolan, said that a man submits in the beginning when he's proving, I am the protector, I'm the provider, I am that man you can trust to submit to me. And that's how a woman knows. And then once she knows her man is a man of God and who he says he is, then she can submit to following. What do you guys say?
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, baby. I got you.
We got 20 minutes, so just
go ahead, knock it out.
Submission to follow. Okay, first of all, that's not gonna work. That's the reason why
the divorce rate's out of control.
It's out of control, and I don't think women have a proper understanding of submission to follow. That expectation that needs to be X'd out of your mental space, period, because women are giving men titles that they have not authored, walked in, or prospectively understood. The title of a king. Okay, a king, the first three letters of king is K-I-N, which is kin. If the mother isn't a queen, there will be no king.
Oh, you are speaking the truth, man. I'm telling you.
Not a queen.
Yes.
The sonship is not of a king relationship. And so what happens is the expectation of a king is thwarted on men who have not developed a culture for themselves, let alone for you to introduce it to you, for you to follow.
Ooh. Pass the collection plate because it's going to go to that. But seriously, I used to think the worst kind of men to date were like mama's boys, but I think it's actually the men that hate their mother. No, when that woman is not, she's not a queen.
And that's good meat, but it's still backwards. It's developing the culture for the man first is if he had a relationship with his father. Don't look and see if he had a relationship with his mother. Yeah, don't look for that one. If he had a relationship, because see, grounding comes from the father. Discipline comes from the father. The structure, the honor, the G code, that sustenance. Because fathers give you sustenance, and it's to sustain something means that this can be maintained without me being present.
Yes,
that's what sustenance is. It's not did I get the man? Can I keep the man? Can this relationship should be sustained after I got him?
Exactly.
Can what I've been doing to get him be sustained after? And usually that's another form where the psychological adjustment comes in for the man. He's like, well, wait, you was doing all this stuff to get me, Why you can't do that same stuff to keep me?
Exactly.
And that's an adjustment for him. Okay, he not going to his mental bank saying, what was my mama doing for my daddy that kept him? He not going back and think about that. His first order comes from what did he see his father do and how did his father handle that situation. And if that man did not have a relationship with his father, then he will not know how to collectively work in a shared space to enjoy a shared experience with you, maintaining or keeping the blessing. Because then now you become property.
And a lot of times fathers, young men have lost their father, like they've raised them to a point, like teenage years, and then they lose them. Or they pass away or something happens.
And you see, and you know, I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you out. You see, that's a lot of things that's going on in society. Now, before I get to that, my wife was talking about, you know, just the women, they're too busy. They're giving authority and things, authority and power and principles to men who haven't even operated in that practice of being the king. Just like these women are calling their sons my king. Right. You're giving a child who has no idea what he's going through right now. The title of something that he's not even prepared to experience yet. So now when he grows up, you're so busy calling him a king. Now he's a king, but he haven't even operated in the kingship yet because he's too busy listening to a woman who's not even a queen yet.
Ooh. Right.
And this is no disrespect to the ladies.
Right. It's not an authored, authoritative position. And this is not the position she's in. So you just think of it like this. Information is like advice. Right. Once I give you advice, there's no need. Advice is deliverance. Once you've been delivered into something, there's no need for you to try to take what I say so you can sound smart with it. Because remember, if I've been delivered from it, the enemy that I've been delivered from, right? Mm-hmm. He can no longer attack me. That's sealed, signed, delivered, right? Mm-hmm. But if you take what I've said, right, in my position as a queen, and you take the position of the queen with something that I've said, the enemy that I've been released from is now going to attack you because they think they're talking to you.
Wow.
They think they're talking to me on you. Mm-hmm. And when they come and test that in you, if there's a crack, now I can attack you. Because you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Exactly.
And you ain't been delivered in that place. You ain't been delivered in that space or that time. And so now what happens is, watch this, where the word bitch comes in, because a bitch is somebody who wants power, right? So then they associate themselves with people, places, things, people, and stuff like people who are evidenced of power, so that they can look like or feel like they have power. And what this is a place of temporal evidence. This is a temporal monetary position to be in, because I want to maximize this moment so I can feel a certain kind of way. And that's what that is. So you got a bunch of women that's saying they queens, but you really a bitch.
Yeah.
Being a queen is not a title earned.
Oh yeah.
Being a queen is not a title. You don't earn the title of queen. This is a throne. This is a dominion. This is a strategic position. Mm-hmm. Okay? Yeah. This is a position of power and governance. If you weren't governing nothing before the relationship, your ass ain't gonna be governing nothing in the relationship.
That's right.
This is a governmental. Think about what queens do. What do they do? What do the Queen of England do? You don't even see her with a man. You don't see her with a man. She's sitting down everywhere she goes. She pampered. Don't nobody halfway want to talk to her. Really? Is that your position?
Yeah.
So you got a lot of people speaking over themselves prophetically, right? The mind of God, mouth of a witch, about something they don't understand. And listen, Satan ain't mad. He ain't mad. He like, God, do it. God, yeah, you bad. You bad. Because when my demons come and attack your idea of who you think you are, because you're not ready to become in God, right? You wanted this position and this power before you had the practice of it, before you could apply it, right? Because order and leadership is like going to school. When you go to school to learn a concept. When you go to college, it's to learn a concept. When you come out, it's to apply the concept.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You got a lot of these women coming in with applied leadership, but without basic concepts.
Wow.
So you want to inherit the presence of authority, the presence of power, the position of power, the position of well-deserved things, but you have not developed out of insecurity concept of that position or that power or that leadership, that attitude, that governance that goes with it. To be a queen is a governing spirit. The Queen of England governs things, cities, councils, states. You know, I mean, just think about it. The heads of states. You know, you got to be qualified.
Seriously.
You got to have a story that is just beyond reasoning for you to be in this strategic position.
Right.
And I see this word get thwarted around. Like, it's no different. Saying queen today is no different than telling random people that you love. Oh, I love you. Oh, I love you.
People just
I love you. I love you. I love for who? To make you feel good or to make the other person feel good? Because I didn't need to be a queen of anything for me to see myself as who I am today. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And when the title was given, when the title was given, this is from the throne of God. I didn't need people to tell me who I was already in the kingdom. I can take something to the throne room in heaven. Can you? Because that's what qualified queens do. Qualified queens, I'm gonna put this in perspective for you. Rahab was a qualified queen. Rahab is still preached today that she was a prostitute. She wasn't a prostitute, they just didn't have a name for it. Rahab was a human trafficking victim.
Wow.
She was a victim of human trafficking. Rahab slept with elite men, businessmen, right? She slept with the king, right? The Bible even goes so far as to say the positioning of her house. To let you know, why do we need to know the position of a prostitute house if she was a hoe? I ain't never seen nobody say that's where that hoe live over there.
Seriously.
Where you see them at? You see them on the street, you see them on the corner, but you never point out where they live at.
Exactly.
Why did the Bible point out where Rahab lived at? He ain't point out to where the rest of the hoes was living at. We don't know where Mary Magdalene was living at. We just knew she was from Magdalene.
Yeah.
But we didn't know what her house was. We didn't know what her house looked like. Let me think. Because Rahab was a qualified queen.
Exactly.
What did she do? The same thing. How do I know Rahab was a queen? Rahab strategically made a decision to do something that all them other hoes couldn't do. And that was to kill the king. She had the king on the front line to be killed. Now, from my understanding, my recollection of prostitution, you don't kill your money maker. You don't kill your cash cow.
Exactly.
You get the bag. And you come back and snag more bags.
That's right.
Okay? You need a referral system or something. You know? I'm just saying. She made a decision like a queen would. She made a decision from the position of authority. So when Joshua came, they said, who allowed us to cross over into Jericho, into the promised land? They said Rahab did. So because Joshua did not know how to name things, right? He did not have that view because he was not Moses and he was not trying to be Moses.
Right.
all he knew what to call her, because remember, Moses had given us a judicial system. He had set that up. He gave us the judges and the supreme courts and stuff like that.
Gave us the census too.
Right.
The numbers.
So he helped us to understand that system. Joshua wasn't that eloquent. Joshua came in, he was a spy, came in ready to fight. He was like, I ain't gonna kill you, but don't push me. You know, like he came in there ready to, and so what he did was he renamed it. He said, well, I don't know what to call you. We're just gonna call you Jericho's harlot.
Wow.
Because he didn't know to call her a queen. Do you understand that? She was submissive. Anyways, how do I know? Let's fact check if Rahab was a queen. Rahab had Boaz. Boaz had Obed. Obed had Jesse. Jesse had David. David was a what?
King.
King starts with what?
King.
David, was he or was he not kin to Rahab?
Right.
Proves my theory.
Yeah, it really does.
It proves my theory. In order for you to be a king, you must come from a queen. This is the reason why David put Uriah on the front line to be killed. His grandma did it. He was in his feelings. Right, for his love for Bathsheba, right? That his discernment was impaired.
Right.
But God promised Rahab, he said, your entire generation will be consecrated. To be consecrated means to be sustained. To be sustained means that this can happen with or without you being present.
Beautiful.
Confirms my theory.
And it's the whole point of why you want to get it right, and you want to get that, you want to pass that down to your bloodline.
Right.
It is about passing down generational blessings and not curses.
Yes.
And at some point, you got to stop saying that's a generational curse and just taking that. You can break it. That's the point. It
may be a curse. It may be a curse. It can be broken. But what's happening is people are taking something that is holy. What people are doing is compromising what is holy because of a crisis. The crisis is that black women aren't honored enough. So out of crisis, I'm going to give you a title that you do not understand. And then I'm going to force you mentally to operate from the position of queen when you don't understand the concept.
Right.
Because this is not an applied science. And the science of it is this the background? Is this hereditarily the background, the hierarchy in which you come from? Because all of us can't be queens. Some of us were handymen. Some of us were workers. Some of us were gleaners. Some of us, who's gonna play the position? Play your role. And so now you got all of these queens out here forcing position and power and authority on each other and forcing ideas on each other that they don't understand because you didn't sit in school to study long enough.
Right.
How? But you want this one to be a king. No, Negro, you're a witch. That's what you are. You forcing outcomes. And you don't get to force an outcome and then come back and say it's holy. And then that's why the kids are confused. We're doing it backwards.
We really are.
Cannot teach that. And that is Jezebel.
Yeah.
That's Jezebel.
We need to, man, this is what it's about. I'm telling you, this, for me, it is about getting the real information, because, the thing is that the Bible's there, but if you don't ever crack it open, you don't ever find out, you're going to be living backwards your whole life and not even just cluelessly happy, just not, or cluelessly miserable.
Not even know.
I wonder why. But guys, we're out of time. Oh my God!
We was gonna end that too.
We got the next coming up next is the Cutting Edge with Al Roundtree, and we gotta get out of his way. But man, I love these guys. I'm telling you, I could have y'all on every day.
I love it.
I know get prophetic revelation and every day.
Yeah, they're so amazing, and I definitely want to talk to you guys about doing some kind of Bible study for couples, because I think we really should look into that. I just felt that on my spirit, like we really, especially in today's time, the family's under attack bigger than ever, and I think this is what it's about. So that when you look at the statistics from children that come from single parents home, and my child was one too, it's an uphill battle. It's hard. We can do it. We can do it, but it's not how it was meant to be. And I don't know why we're trying to reinvent the wheel, and why can't we just do it the way it's meant to be? But our ego, separates us from God, and we think we can do it ourselves. So that's good. That's another show. We're definitely gonna have you guys back on. How do people get in touch with you for everything you guys got going on?
Go ahead, man.
Oh, you put me on the spot. Okay. You guys know clearly that we're in this fight against human trafficking.
Yes.
And I'm gonna let my husband tell his story when he gets ready to. But we would definitely. I think it's okay for me to say that we were both victims of human trafficking. And you've been doing a beautiful job, and I've been enjoying watching you heal throughout this process. I'm very proud of you, and I love you through everything. Definitely check us out at Equally Yoked. You can continue to book my husband through Equally Yoked 2. That's with the L, so it's Equally and then Yoked, YOLKED.
Right.
The number 2 on Facebook. Always call our hotline if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns about human trafficking, or you think somebody's being trafficked, or you want to report something to the police but you don't want to be the reportee. We are definitely there for you to use us as a resource and things like that. Call us at 713-331-3112. Book us on Facebook for Equally Yoked, as all proceeds go to finding victims that have been forced into sex slavery and things like that. Email me always Nisi, that's nissi.hamilton@yahoo.com, and
y'all guys can find me on Facebook, Kenneth Hamilton. That's my Facebook name. Instagram as Your Fave Chef Ken, as URFAV Chef Ken. So for all your booking, all your needs for whether you're doing anniversaries, weddings, anything like that, family get-togethers, I do it all. No matter what kind of cuisine you want or need, I got it. I can take care of it for you. My email is k.hamilton57yahoo.com. Phone number is 832-552-8768. Look forward to hearing from y'all.
yes.
The